The abuse did not stop because we're in the air. Jeffrey couldn't take a 2-hour flight without having to ejaculate.
Jeffrey Epstein, a name synonymous with luxury, intrigue, and whispers of something far darker. He wasn't just a financier rubbing shoulders with the elite. Behind the opulent mansions and private jets lay a web of shadows. Today, the silence shatters. We hear from those who saw the truth firsthand, the ones who dared to peek behind the curtain of privilege and witness the unthinkable. So brace yourself for the truth, a truth that will shatter the carefully constructed image and expose the dark secrets that thrived within Jeffrey Epstein's empire.
Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire New York businessman, was with young women and girls.
The revelations of Juan Alessi. Juan Alessi, a man who once cleaned and maintained Jeffrey Epstein's houses for over a decade, shared his experiences working with the wealthy financier and his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was his alleged accomplice in trafficking young women. Alessi began working for Epstein in 1991, responsible for keeping things tidy and functioning at the house. He handled everything from cleaning and repairs to managing gardeners and pool staff, and even did errands and shopping. Early on, he met Maxwell, who quickly became his main point of contact. He understood her to be the person in charge, the lady of the house, as he put it. Maxwell introduced herself as Epstein's girlfriend and made it clear she would oversee the household. Alessi's work for Epstein offered him a first-hand view into a world later marred by shocking accusations and legal battles. Juan Alessi described a stressful routine whenever Epstein was about to arrive. He explained that Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend, would notify the staff anywhere between a day and just a few hours in advance. This would trigger a whirlwind of activity that Alessi called extensive preparation. The house would be meticulously cleaned, sheets would be changed in all the bedrooms, including Epstein's, groceries would be stocked, and most importantly, Epstein's cars parked on the property would be stashed specifically with $100 bills. He observed that Maxwell and Epstein ran the place like a luxury hotel, with everything always ready and prepared for their last-minute visits. Behind closed doors. As time went on, Juan Alessi noticed a significant shift in his relationship with his employer, Epstein. While things started off on a friendly and cordial note, Alessi described how their interactions gradually became more distant and strictly professional. In the beginning, Alessi and Epstein would engage in casual conversations. However, as the years went by, these personal exchanges became increasingly rare. Alessi recalled how in-person communication dwindled, and he found himself having fewer and fewer direct conversations with Epstein. Alessi further recounted a striking change in Epstein's behavior towards him. He shared that Maxwell instructed him to only speak when Epstein addressed him directly with a question. Even then, Alessi was told to avoid making eye contact with Epstein during these limited interactions. This shift in communication extended beyond face-to-face interactions. Alessi described a peculiar messaging system that Epstein implemented to convey requests to his staff. Instead of speaking to Alessi directly within the house, Epstein would route written messages through his office in New York. During the initial phase of Juan Alessi's employment at Epstein's residence, Epstein received 1 massage per day. However, as Alessi's tenure progressed, he observed an increase in the frequency to 3 massages daily. Alessi explained that appointments for these massages were arranged by Maxwell himself, assistant Sarah Kellen, or other staff members. The scheduling involved mornings, afternoons, and even extending to late evenings around 10 or 11 p.m. Alessi detailed the process of organizing these massages, which included reaching out to potential therapists from a Rolodex of contacts. He would inquire about their availability at a specific time and then instruct them to come.
From underage girls to strict rules. Alessi also spoke about seeing 2 young girls at Epstein's Palm Beach home, who he believed to be underage. One of them was called Jane, whom he described as a striking, beautiful girl with long brunette hair and captivating eyes. The other was Virginia Roberts. Alessi estimated that they were both around 14 or 15 years old. When he first met them, Alessi said that he welcomed Jane and Virginia to the house on several occasions and would bring them to Ghislaine Maxwell's desk on the ground floor when they arrived. He also recalled that Jane's name was listed in the Rolodex of massage therapists that he used to schedule appointments. In a particularly noteworthy detail, Alessi testified that he had driven both Jane and Virginia to the airport with Epstein and Maxwell on separate occasions. He said that he even followed them onto the tarmac and watched them board Epstein's private plane with Maxwell and Epstein. Alessi also stated that Donald Trump occasion ally visited and had meals there. However, Alessi clarified that Trump always ate in the kitchen separate from the dining table, where other guests might be. Additionally, Alessi emphasized that Trump never received massages or stayed overnight at the property. In addition to all these, Alessi painted a vivid picture of his time working with Epstein. His words shed light on the strict and demanding environment that staff navigated daily. Alessi described a life governed by many rules. Every aspect of the household, from setting the dining table to addressing Epstein and Maxwell, had specific protocols. He recalled receiving a 58-page manual from Maxwell outlining every detail with meticulous precision. This rule book, he admitted, felt degrading and instilled a sense of constant vigilance. One of the most striking directives in the manual was the mantra "see nothing." Here, nothing, say nothing except to answer a question directed at you. Alessi felt the pressure to be blind, deaf, and dumb, existing solely to serve the needs of Epstein and Maxwell without raising questions or acknowledging anything beyond his immediate tasks. This culture of secrecy and silence took its toll on Alessi. He eventually left in 2000, citing both health concerns and sheer exhaustion from the demanding job. He confessed to feeling very tired and unable to sustain the mental and emotional strain of constantly adhering to the restrictive environment. In a moment of vulnerability, Alessi admitted to stealing $6,300 from Epstein. After leaving, he called this act the greatest mistake of his life.
Maria Farmer's encounter with Epstein. Another Jeffrey Epstein employee, Maria Farmer, who opens up about everything, is Maria Farmer. Maria is an artist and was a former employee of Jeffrey Epstein in the 1990s. Her story reveals a disturbing pattern of alleged manipulation and influence within the art world. In the mid-1990s, while pursuing her graduate studies, Maria experienced a seemingly lucky break. She managed to sell a piece of her artwork for $20,000 directly from her studio, a significant achievement for a young artist. However, fate took an unexpected turn. During her graduate exhibition in 1995, Maria found herself face-to-face with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The introduction, facilitated by the school's dean, Eileen Guggenheim, seemed promising at first. Epstein, known as a major art collector, expressed interest in purchasing one of Maria's paintings. However, the details of his offer raised eyebrows. The painting in question had already been sold to a German buyer for $112,000, a respectable sum for an emerging artist. Yet Epstein reportedly wanted it for half the price, a significant discount. Guggenheim, however, urged Maria to accept Epstein's offer. This pressure, coming from both a potential patron and a school official, put Maria in a difficult position. Even before the encounter, Maria was aware of Epstein's presence in the art world. He was a regular attendee of Academy events and often observed students working in their studios. He and Maxwell were known as generous art patrons, making their interest in Maria's work seem potentially beneficial. In the summer of '95, 4 aspiring artists, including Maria, received an enticing offer, a chance to escape their studios and explore the artistic haven of Santa Fe, New Mexico. The trip, lavishly sponsored by Epstein and his partner Maxwell, seemed like a dream come true. But beneath the surface of artistic inspiration and cultural immersion lurked something far more unsettling, as Maria and her fellow artists soon discovered. The Santa Fe trip wasn't just a vacation, it was a carefully orchestrated test orchestrated by Epstein and Maxwell, one that would push the boundaries of comfort and probe the depths of artistic ambition. The turning point came during a dinner party hosted by Epstein, Maxwell, and the new school's dean, Eileen Guggenheim. The turning point, Epstein laid out an unusual proposition. A prestigious commission for a major artwork to adorn his New Mexico property would be awarded to one of the artists. The promised commission, the supposed reward for navigating this bizarre test, however, never materialized. Instead, the Santa Fe trip left the artists feeling bewildered and shaken. The experience cast a dark shadow over their artistic aspirations and raised serious questions about the motivations of Epstein, Maxwell, and even Guggenheim's role in facilitating such a troubling evening. After returning to New York, she initially served as Epstein's art advisor. During this period, she oversaw the acquisition of artworks by Chuck Biss and Damon Loeb for Epstein's collection. This involvement in Epstein's financial dealings suggests a level of trust and proximity to his inner circle. However, Maria's role soon transitioned to working at the front desk of Epstein's New York mansion. This position placed her in the center of the comings and goings of the house, where she observed a significant number of young girls visiting Epstein. Maria also stated that Maxwell would frequently leave on missions to recruit girls for Epstein. This detail highlights Maxwell's alleged role in facilitating Epstein's abusive activities.
Betrayed trust. Maria's testimony took a particularly disturbing turn when she revealed the existence of a hidden media room within the mansion. This room, accessed through a hidden door, housed individuals allegedly monitoring pinhole cameras strategically placed throughout the house. Maria specifically mentioned that these cameras focused on the beds and toilets, indicating a blatant invasion of privacy and potential recording of private moments. Maria also reported seeing lawyer Alan Dershowitz visiting Epstein's New York home regularly. While the nature and purpose of these visits remain unclear, they add another layer to the complex web of individuals connected to Epstein and potentially aware of his activities. In the summer of 1996, Maria's artistic career seemed to take a promising turn. Commissioned to create 2 artworks for the film set of As Good as It Gets, she faced the challenge of finding adequate space in her small New York apartment. Epstein proposed a seemingly attractive solution, an artist-in-residence opportunity on a sprawling guest house on Les Wexner's estate in Ohio. The 10,600-square-foot property promised an ideal environment for artistic creation, but upon arrival, Maria's initial excitement turned to disquiet. She discovered the residence was guarded by Wexner's armed security personnel, and she was forbidden from leaving without obtaining permission from Abigail Wexner, Les Wexner's wife. This restriction felt unsettling, bordering on controlling. However, the most distressing incident occurred when Epstein and Maxwell visited the Ohio property. Maria alleges that both individuals sexually assaulted her. Facing this trauma, she managed to escape to another part of the house and barricade herself inside, using furniture to block the door. In a state of fear and desperation, she reached out to her family, her mentor, artist Eric Fischel, and even attempted to contact authorities. Instead of receiving immediate assistance, Maria faced another hurdle. The security guards informed her she couldn't leave, and they held her against her will for 12 agonizing hours. Her only hope arrived in the form of her father, who, upon hearing the distressing news, drove from Kentucky to Ohio to pick her up and take her away.
The Farmer sisters battle against Epstein. Later that summer, Maria found out that her younger sister, Annie, had also experienced assault at the hands of Epstein. This unsettling incident occurred during Annie's visit to Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico in April 1996. In a legal action taken against Epstein's estate in 2019, Maria detailed the distressing encounter. According to her account, Epstein subjected her to groping and harassment and even crawled into bed with her during the New Mexico visit. Additionally, Annie Farmer asserted that Ghislaine Maxwell had engaged in inappropriate conduct by providing her with a topless massage during the same incident. In 2002, journalist Vicky Ward at Vanity Fair was tasked with writing a profile about Epstein. During her research, she met with sisters Maria and Annie along with their mother Janice. The Farmers bravely shared disturbing stories about their experiences with Epstein, alleging inappropriate behavior and potential abuse. They hoped their voices would be heard and expose any potential wrongdoings. However, to their shock and dismay, when the Vanity Fair article finally came out, their accounts were missing. Editor Gren Carter, responsible for final decisions, had excluded any mention of the Farmer family. Later, Carter claimed he faced pressure from Epstein during the publication process. He described receiving unsettling signals like a bullet delivered to his home and a cat's head left outside the Vanity Fair office. Around the same time, they were considering expanding their investigation into Epstein. These events fueled speculation that Epstein used intimidation tactics to silence the Farmer accusations. The omission of the Farmer story had a chilling effect. It not only left them feeling unheard, and potentially, the chilling shadows of Maria's experience with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell extended far beyond the initial encounter. Art collector Stuart Pevar, a confidant of Maria's, confirmed shortly after the incident that she had shared the disturbing details with him. Renowned artist Eric Fischel also verified her account, recalling conversations where she confided in him in the aftermath. Maxwell's threats became a recurring nightmare for Maria. These threats aimed to silence her permanently, targeting not only her but also her professional world. Phone calls and visits to her clients and contacts in the art world were used to cast doubt on her credibility and paint her as unreliable. The pressure became suffocating. To escape the ever-present fear and rebuild her life, Maria made a drastic decision. She left the New York art scene behind and relocated to the American Southeast. For 24 years, she chose a quieter existence, selling antiques and restoring houses, all while keeping a low profile.